Hi, my name is Jason Miller, and this is my pitch for BCM216 Transmedia Studies. So, my proposal for a transmedia project is board game stories. As you can probably tell, I'm a bit of a fan of board games. They've kind of kept me sane during these trying times. I spend a fair bit of my spare time playing games with my family and painting up the figurines, like so. And what's fascinated me about these games is the ability for them to create these emergent narratives. And what I'm hoping to do with this project is to expand on the stories within the games in a digital format. For my proof of concept, I am putting together a photo series called Board Game Comics, and just experimenting with the layout on Instagram to see what I can do with the traditional comic space online. What I'm hoping to explore as part of this project is the idea of the emergent narrative, where a little bit of background is given for a story, but then throughout play, a narrative emerges, whether it be from the actions of the players or a funny thing that happens during the game. And I want to try and capture that and put it in a context that's understandable for someone outside of the game to understand. I'm also interested in the different perspectives other people bring to the play experience, whether they have the same emergent narrative going on in their head or whether they have a different perspective on the events that take place during the course of play. The main inspiration for this project is twofold. One, I enjoy video games that have emergent narratives. So a big example of that for me was the Firaxis games XCOM and XCOM Enemy Unknown, where you're given a squad of soldiers and not really told much about them. You make up your own stories about them in your head, and when things happen to them, it's either really good or really bad because of these stories you've built up about them. Secondly, I've been inspired by people that play games online on YouTube, so channels like Bits of Board, Wait Your Turn, Quackalope. They all do semi-dramatic tellings of games. They play through the game, they give the characters some story and history and play through, but it's not a true narrative because they still focus very heavily on the gameplay aspect of the game, where you're rolling dice and seeing the outcome. As far as inspiration for the actual format of my proof of concept, I look to Lore Olympus and how that's changed sort of the way a comic is viewed online using a digital format. I'm looking at doing something similar, although not on Webtoons, on Instagram, where I play around with the space on Instagram to try and get the field of a board game and a comic in one. As an example of emergent narrative, during a recent playthrough of Cthulhu Death May Die, a game by Rob Davio and Eric Lang, my two heroes, Rasputin and Morgan, ventured into a casino being run by evil cultists that were hoping to summon an old god into this world. Morgan, being a tough guy, decided to hold off all the cultists he could while Rasputin searched the casino, looking for clues as to how to stop the ritual. Unfortunately, Morgan didn't realise that Rasputin was a notorious pyromaniac and had set fire to the casino before all the clues could be discovered. This led to some horrors from another dimension being summoned, and ultimately led to the downfall of our heroes. The old god entered our world and the game was lost. If anyone out there is interested in contributing to this project after this pitch, what I would like from people is to play a board game and take photos and try and form a narrative around what happens during that game, why things happened, what's the motivation of the players or the pieces, and try and present it in some sort of comic form online. Thank you for listening to my presentation.